Alright. Yo, what's up gang, and welcome back to another dope video. My new drum and bass single Empty is available now. And as my drum and bass tutorials always went crazy, I thought let's do another breakdown for you guys. So if you want to listen to the whole song, check out the first link in the description. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram, because I always keep you updated with new releases. And this year there will be many dope as fuck releases. So watch until the end, maybe I will announce my next release. But now let's dive into the breakdown of Empty. I decided to only break down the drops because I think it's not necessary to show you the verses and the intro and the outro, because there are no special techniques that I could show you. But first of all, I want to explain you the model of call and response. That means there is a part A, the call, and a part B which responds to part A. Why do I explain this to you? It's simple. Because this is the main characteristic of my new song Empty. But now let's get into the project file. Let's start as always with the drums. I used the common drum and bass rhythm. So we have a kick, a snare, some cymbals, and that's the call, so the part A. And then there is the response, so the part B, sounding like this. And I added a crash loop there, and the rhythm also changed. So we have the call and response. To process it, I've just used an EQ, saturator, clue compressor to glue everything together, and that's basically it for the drums. Then let's get to the bass. I have made a thick sub bass sounding like this. That's also the call, so the part A. And in part B, I changed the rhythm, but the bass sounds stayed the same. Yeah, I made this sub bass with Serum. It's basically just a sine wave with some noise, distortion and compression, and another saturator, some EQ, and utility to sidechain the bass to the kick. Then there is the second bass sounding like this. Yeah, I've only used this bass for the part A, so the call, and in part B there is just the sine wave, so the sub bass. And as you can see, I resampled this to have an audio clip. That's how I made this bass. So it's a thick Reese bass, also nothing special, just two saw waves with a filter, low cut filter, some distortion, compression and hyper dimension, and then I post-processed it with some saturation, EQ, with some stereo imaging, utility to sidechain it again to the kick, and that's it. And then I grouped the basses together and did another saturation, added an EQ, and here I've chosen the mid and side function. So these are the mids, I've just low cutted the very lows because they are unnecessary. So everything under 20 Hertz. And on the side function, I've low cutted everything under 100 Hertz because I want the low frequencies, so the sub bass and the sub frequencies, to be mono. Yeah, and that's all about the bass sounds. I have a bass fill here sounding like this. That's the normal respace, but I added an autopan automation to make it from moving fast like moving slow, because you can hear if I turn off the autopan, it sounds like this. Yeah, and adding the autopan, it sounds like this. And I also pitched it down. So yeah, I pitched it down, and also the sub bass. That's how to make this bass fill. Then let's go to the kind of vocal chops, which only appear in the response part. So in part B, sounding like this. Yeah, that's pretty simple. I just took certain parts of the vocal and chopped them to this melody. But let's sound to this vocal chops without any effects. It sounds like this. And with the effects, it sounds like this. So which effects did I use? I used Lil Alter Boy to change the format. Then I added some saturation, OTT, hybrid reverb, EQ to get rid of the lows because I don't need them, another EQ, some overdrive to distort them, and of course sidechain, another EQ, and autopan to pan the vocal chops left and right. That's important to make it sound stereo. The whole track, it's important to stereo image your songs. And then we also have a guitar which I played myself, sounding like this. Yeah, it sounds like this because I have added the autopan again. So only in the first part, so in the call, I have the autopan activated. That's why it sounds that choppy. And in part B, so in the response part, it only is the normal guitar with some processing, like the typical things I always do, like EQ, an amp, OTT, saturator, compression. So it's basically nothing really special. And of course, I also added an sidechain, and I added another utility plugin, yeah, to automate the volume, because sometimes I want it to be silent, and that's why I have added this utility plugin. And as you can hear at the beginning of this track, we only hear some instruments and then only the drums. I made this to build some tension. But yeah, that's about the guitar. Then we have some one-shots sounding like this. These are basically color bass sounds, and we also have them in the first drop here, sounding like this. And also here, sounding like this. Now I will show you how to make this color bass sounds. There are many YouTube tutorials on YouTube, but I'll show it to you anyways. So at first you have to make some supersaws and write your chords. Then go to Serum and just make some supersaws. Saw wave with some unison and detune and some noise, compression and hyper dimension. That sounds like this. These are supersaws, also well known in future bass. So if you want to make color bass sounds, you need a growl. So like in dubstep, you need some dubstep growls. And I sound designed one that sounds like this. And that's all you need. After you have made the super source and you have a dubstep growl, just add a vocoder, choose external, and then choose the track where your super source are. So it's this track, 87, and yeah, and then I've chosen this track where the super source are. Now let's listen how it sounds. Yeah, and that's how you make color-based sounds. So it's pretty easy and pretty simple. Afterwards, I just resampled it and then I chopped them a bit so they sound like this. And of course, I processed them a bit with EQ, saturation, reverb, sidechaining and compression. But that's the magic I did in the first drop. And also really important are the ARPs, sounding like this. Yeah, they sound really crunchy because I've added a lot of distortion and saturation plugins, but that's also pretty simple. As you can see, I wrote my chords and I've chosen some lead presets, so I didn't make the presets myself. And then I added the arpeggiator from Ableton Live and of course my sidechain, and that's how I made the ARP sounds. So that's also pretty simple. That's it with the first drop. So let's continue with the second drop, where I also made use of the call and response model. Yeah, again, the drums sounding like this in part A. And sounding like this in part B. Yeah, that's the drums, so pretty simple. And here I added an ambient sound, sounding like this. Then let's go to the vocals. Also some vocal chops. I did the same here, I just took certain parts of the vocals, chopped them, and then processed them a bit. Not that much, but I think this part made the drop really huge, so the vocal chops are really important in the second drop. Then we have the bass again, that's the same like in the first drop, so there's nothing further to say. And here we have some super sauce, so just the natural sounding super sauce, sounding like this. And in part B, then again the guitar, but only in part A. And again the ARP sounds. But that's also the drop 2. Yeah, and that's already it. But finally, I have some good news for you. On the 14th of April, I'm already releasing my next single named Revenge. It's with the really talented and legendary vocalist Jordan Grace. So stay tuned. Also, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you soon. Peace.